Denver Broncos 2022 roster grades. Russell Wilson's here. Let's see what their grade is. Should be better than last year. And what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fun NFL. Like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. Of course, I'll just restart this. The Chicago Bears and what are these called? Seattle Seahawks are on ESPN right now, so you can go watch that. Friday, it's Carolina and New England on NFL Network. Then you got the Rams and Texans on NFL Network. That's basically I'll give you. Then there's a quadruple header, I think, on Saturday. Triple header on Sunday. And then you got Sunday Night Football on Fox, and then you got Monday night on ESPN at 8 o'clock. But either way, as always, hope you guys enjoy. See, this is Justin Fields has a really good mindset going into 2022. We'll see what he can do. Me kind of frustrated by Watson's lack of accountability. Yeah, she's very she can say that, and that's very true. Like, there's one person I trust to say that is her. But yeah, actually, Pete Carroll coaching against Russ won't be any different. Yeah, it better not be. Time for this quarterback rating, though. Of course, Russ is the quarterback for this team, and I like Russ a lot. Like, a lot. Like, I've seen him torch the Rams. Of course, the Rams had his number a little bit, but last season in 14 games he went 6-8, which isn't great, but first losing season ever as a quarterback. He's a guy who wins. Not only that, though, he threw for 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, which is really low, and considering the year we had before where he threw for a lot more interceptions. But in his career, he's been pretty inconsistent with having a low interception total, other than 2020. But he threw 40 touchdowns. I think he'll get back over 4,000 yards this year for sure. He has the best deep ball I've ever seen. I'm not even joking about that. It's so beautiful. 65% completion. It's a little low, but I wouldn't say it's too bad. Really needs to get back to throwing the ball over the middle. He's never really been that guy. He needs to do that this year with a different type of receiving core for sure. Didn't have a fourth quarter comeback last year. Took 33 sacks. Not the worst. Advanced passing. Where's the yards over expectation? No. Where is it? Intended air yards 2,956, which is pretty good. But he missed a lot of throws on deep balls. It'll be completed air 1,730 yards, which isn't bad. He didn't really push the ball downfield as much as he usually does, but he still pushed the ball downfield a lot, so that's good. His deep ball, like I said, is just electric. He needs to get back better at throwing the ball over the middle, though. He had a 73.9 PFF grade, which I think is fair because he was not that consistent overall. In 2020, he was obviously elite. So for Russell Wilson, he's really good. Josh Johnson, I would actually say he's a top above average backup because when he's come in, ever since 2020, like last year, he was actually pretty serviceable as a backup. Brett Rippon, he rips the ball down the field. That's literally just about it. He's a gunslinger. He won the one game he had to, so that's good. But yeah, that's kind of the quarterback run for this year. Okay, what I'll give Russell Wilson an A-. He's definitely a top 10 receiver, but quarterback. But can I give him an A? Yeah, I'll give him an A. He's obviously better, but yeah, A. Yeah, he's A because he's top 10, and I think he could be. He's arguably he's not top 5, but he's 6 or 7 at best. Worst, he's 9th. But I like Russell Wilson a lot. Like his improvisation is still there. He's still elite. He's a really darn quarterback. A+, no, that's like 3 quarterbacks, but I think A is fair because is Matthew Stafford that much better than him? No, not at all. That's why I got to give him an A. A comes out to 29.33 out of 30, or 29.67 out of 30. Time for this running back position. Now for the running back, Javonte Williams is a presumed starter. Of course, I think he is. You got to slow a little bit down on people thinking that he'll be elite this year. He could be good, but I don't think he'll be, like, super duper good. I think you got to slow down on that. Here's why. He is not the type of runner. He breaks a lot of tackles, yes. 460 yards after contact is really good. You got to remember, he might get, it's not just wear and tear, but I don't think he has the vision just yet to do it. And he's a little raw as well. Yeah, 1,212 scrimmage yards, 316 yards in the air. Not only that, though, he's really in the red zone as well. But he had 4.4 yards per carry. That isn't anything special. I'm sorry. It's just not. But he did get a lot of carries as well. And he's not a great run blocker as well. I think he's definitely better than Melvin Gordon. But you got to slow down a little bit because on film, he's not as explosive as people might think he is. You got to slow a little bit down there. I don't think he's bad at all by any means. He's definitely an above-average running back from what I saw last year, but still a little bit down. Like last year, Melvin Gordon, he'll be a backup this year. He'll still get a good amount of carries, but he's been productive. Like, he had higher yards per carry for a reason. Of course, his yards after contact and his break tackle are his yards after contact, of course, lower than Javonte Williams. But then we go back to Javonte Williams, and he broke 31 tackles, which is really good. I think that led the NFL. But like, Melvin Gordon isn't like that much worse than him. Like, he could be a starter on a lot of teams, even on like the Rams. But thing with Melvin Gordon, he's kind of diminished a little bit as a receiver, and his vision is just not there as much as it used to be. But he's still pretty explosive, still can have those big runs, which is big. I still like Melvin Gordon as a backup. Mike Boone, bad. Quan Hardy, bad. Okay, B for this running back room. I cannot give him a B+, because I think Javonte Williams is an above-average running back. I don't think he's going to be elite, though. You could say what you want about me, but not only that, though, Melvin Gordon's a really good back as well. So, I do think they will get a really good 1-2 punch there, but I got to give him a B. You know, I can give him a B+. I got to give him a B. I just struggle with it, and just watching Javonte Williams on film, he's a little bit of a higher risk guy, but he's really good. 15.67 out of 20, time for this wide receiver position. Okay, Cortland Sutton struggled a little bit last year. Didn't seem like the same guy he was before, but of course, bad quarterback play. But yeah, I think he rebounded somewhat nicely after a tough year with a torn ACL. But he still has that big play potential. We saw it against Jacksonville in Week 2 last year. He can still make big plays down the field. He really struggled in the red zone, though. He's never been that big of a red zone receiver, even though he's a pretty good route runner. He has pretty good hands for a tall guy at 6'4", 216. But I do think he still has. He's never been a great route runner. He's been a good route runner, really, but he's more of a jump ball guy. His big play ability just wasn't as much there last year. Jerry Jeudy, he needs to be really good this year, like really, really good. 2020, he struggled a little bit. Still very explosive. That's not the fastest dude in the world, but he had 92-yard touchdown in 2020 for a reason. Really stunk it up last year. I'll just be straight up honest with you, because he struggled with injury, but he was really bad last year. That's just how it is. Like, he really struggled. Like, his release was actually pretty darn good. Like, his release was good, but other than that, he really did struggle. KJ Hamler didn't play a lot last year because he got hurt. Didn't he like tear his ACL? I think, yeah. We'll see how that affects him this year. But in 2020, he was pretty good. Yeah, his PFF grade doesn't say so, but he's one of the fastest players in the NFL. Montreal Washington, of course, a 5th-round pick out of Stanford. I think Montreal Washington is really underrated because he's such a he plays technically so well. Like, his route running is really good. His catching, his hands are really solid. They're like, I think he's actually grown his hands because in the years of Stanford, as a freshman, he had brick hands. Like, I wouldn't say, maybe not brick hands, but his hands weren't anything special. The next year, really good hands. Like, I don't think he dropped a pass. The next year struggled a little bit, so a downgrade from the second year. But last year really showed he's sure-handed. Tyree Cleveland, not a terrible backup. But Kendall Hinton I like a lot because he works his butt. Of course, started that game. But when he played, he actually got some good targets. So look for him to be a little bit of an option. But definitely Montreal Washington will get a lot of targets with Tim Patrick tearing his ACL, right? What happened? Yeah, he tore his ACL. That's really sad. Tim Patrick, honestly, I think he's the most reliable receiver on this team. I wouldn't even put it past you by saying that because he's so good in the slot, so good out wide, very versatile. He's definitely can be that X guy. Cortland Sutton needs to be that X guy this year, though. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna give this receiving core a B-. I don't love it. They've got 3 guys to like, but other than that, their depth is like I said, Montreal Washington is just a really good technical player. But Russell Wilson wants to throw the ball deep. He doesn't want to throw over the middle, which where Montreal Washington, if you didn't know, lives. But that's the thing. I don't love this receiving core. Like, they've got 3 guys I like, but I don't know if Cortland Sutton's true number 1. I don't think you can really say that. He's a good receiver, but he's not a great receiver. Really took a step back after 2019. Of course, he tore ACL, of course, but they don't really have that red zone threat either because Jerry Jeudy was really bad last year. And then KJ Hamler's coming off the torn ACL. He's probably going to be their big play deep guy, but it's a lot of projections as well. I don't love this team with projections. For that reason, I got to give him a B- because it just doesn't really work out usually. So 3.33 plus 12 is 15.33 out of 20. It's more the quarterback than the receiving core, I'll put it that way. Time for this tight end. Okay, Albert Okwuegbunam. My bad. Whatever. He was a backup last year. Was pretty solid. Basically your average tight end, and he's a decent blocker as well. But Albert Okwuegbunam, whatever. Albert Okwuegbunam. That's how I pronounce it. I like him a lot. I just don't know if he can be that number one. We'll see if he can be, but he's definitely not a bad blocker. Good receiver. I think he can be a big guy in the red zone, and he has some speed as well. It hurts not having Noah Fant, but I guess that's what you take to get Russell Wilson. Your roster is not as good. But Greg Dulcich, where is he? 3rd round pick this year, 80th overall for a reason. Wasn't it like Cal or something? Yeah, UCLA. This dude is really athletic, big hands, like good hands as well. But being honest, his speed is there, but his run blocking just isn't. That's just the truth. Andrew Beck, more of a fullback, but I think he's become much more of a receiver, and he's always been a really good run blocker. Eric Tomlinson, big dude. Big dude, for a tight end. But I remember he was on the Ravens. He's a real elite run blocker, like an elite run blocker. Definitely needs to work on that pass catching. But overall, this is pretty good depth in terms of this tight end position. I don't know about Albert Okwuegbunam just yet, but he's been solid as a backup, so we'll see if he can be as a starter. Okay, C+. I like this a lot more than some other people do, just for the fact that I like it because all those guys are solid. They're gonna get the job done. None of those guys, I don't think any of them are gonna be really good this year, but I do think Albert Okwuegbunam is gonna be definitely be a starter. And getting Greg Dulcich is really important because that guy can really, and I mean it, he can really get downfield. He can be that Noah Fant replacement. And of course, with Albert Okwuegbunam, definitely getting better in run blocking. That's gonna help a lot. Time for this offensive line now. Okay, Garrett Bowles. Really good in 2020, a little bit of step down last year, but he was still definitely serviceable. I think Garrett Bowles is, at best, a really good tackle. I'd say, B+. At his worst, he's like a C-, so right now I'll give him, a B-. He's a decent player, but I do think he's definitely competent. Tom Compton, who's not competent because he's never on the field. Whenever I look at this dude, he's always hurt. He's an old dude anyway, but not a bad backup when he's on the field. Dalton Reisner, he's been solid his whole career, really good run blockers. Pass block's never been that great, though. Probably that's holding him back from being a really good offensive lineman. Graham Glasgow, really unfortunate circumstances for him. Was a starter, then got hurt, and just didn't really play well. And Quinn Meinerz really stepped up. And he's just kind of getting a shot. Because in some games, Quinn Meinerz was actually really good. In his rookie season, he was really bad. Really bad. Last year, I think he was pretty decent. 67.4 PFF grade show, so. But, what do you mean that? Yeah, well, my bad, 3rd round pick. For a rookie, though, last year when he played, I do think he was decent. But in 2020, where did he go? Oh yeah, at his FCS school, he was not good. He wasn't that good. The film didn't really say much at all. He didn't really get to see much. His measurables weren't great either, but he impressed me pretty well. Nathan Muti, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Sorry, Quinn Meinerz. You and Nathan Muti are really hard to gauge. Whatever. Nathan Muti last year was bad, and the year before he was pretty bad as well. Yeah, it was really bad 2 years ago. But Nathan Muti going into this season needs to prove himself, or he might not have a job. Lloyd Cushenberry, the reason I skipped him is because he's literally the definition of an average center. Good run blocker, not great pass blocker, but he's a decent snapper. Nothing really much more to say. Luke Wattenberg, 5th round pick out of Washington. Ankle issue. He's really athletic and has really good length, but that's just really about it. Calvin Anderson. Why do I think he's okay? Yeah, out of Texas. Older dude. He's really getting a chance here, but he's always been a really good pass blocker. Just hasn't really gotten that run blocking going. We'll see what he can do here in his 4th season. Billy Turner. I don't like Billy Turner at all. He's been bad his whole career, really. But with the Green Bay over the past couple years, he's, I guess, improved, but he's never been a good player. As a backup, I guess he's not the worst. Again, with the Green Bay last 2 years, he was pretty decent, but again, he's not a reliable starter. But as a backup, he's not bad. Overall, I like these backups. What's Tom Compton's issue? Okay, so Tom Compton actually will be okay, but this is honestly. This could be the best backups in the NFL. These guys as a starter, yeah, maybe not Tom Compton, but I like these backups. Okay, But Tom Compton and this offensive line, I do think Tom Compton actually had a good year last year. But overall, this offensive line, you know, I'll give him a B minus. The starters, they're not great. Like, there's no superstar. There's no bad player per se. But the depth is really good. So I'll give him a B minus. Could it say a B? Yeah, probably. But none of those guys are superstars. None of those guys are great. And, like, whatever. But they got 10 really good players. Could they give me a B? Yeah, but, like, I don't know if they're that great. That's just my opinion on it. So 3.33 plus 8 is 11.33 out of 15. Pretty good. Time for overall offensive average and grade. Okay, so the average comes out to a B, but the points comes out to 84 out of 100, which is B plus, which I think is their range. They're not going to be like an elite offense next year. I think they're going to be a good offense. I don't think they're going to be elite. I just don't think they will be. Just for the fact that this receiving core is not that good. This receiving core just isn't that good. Like, I just don't think it's that good. Yeah, it's a little underrated, but they don't have those money guys. None of those guys, other than Cortland that one year, they don't have much like that. They don't have anything proven. Running back wise, I think it's good, but like I said, Melvin Gordon's there, yes, but I don't think Javonte Williams is going to be elite. I think he'll be really good. I just don't think he'll be elite. B, I think it's fair for them. None of that, they don't have anyone after those two guys. Tight end position, like I said, solid. Just that's about it. You can that's good. Offensive line, though, B minus. It's a decent offensive line. Other than Russell Wilson, though, there's nothing really where you can be like, they're good, obviously, but they're not like people thought this. Like, it's not like they had a Pro Bowl worthy a group of weapons. It wasn't like these quarterbacks were working with that. They were working with good players, but just not that. So that's something that people often overlook if you ask me. Time for this linebacker position, though. Of course, defense runs a 3-4. So Jonas Griffith is the first one we're going to talk about. Second season in the NFL at Indiana State. Didn't play a lot last year at Indiana State. Of course, that FCS school. I'll be honest with you, Jonas Griffith is not something a guy I watched a lot of. I watched, not really in college either. I watched a little bit of his combine, but he's a little bit of a, what I want to say, outcast, but he's a little bit of an unknown, and I want you to know this. Here coming into his, last year with the 49ers, second season NFL, UDFA, he's a good player. Like, he's really athletic. But since he played at Indiana State FCS school, and he's really bad in pass coverage, like really bad, that kind of does just depreciate his value. But he's a good player. Josie Jewell. Josie Jewell's been solid his whole career. He's never been a great tackler. But he's always, and I mean this, always been really good in pass coverage. 2020 is a good example of that. Because he's not really the most athletic guy, but he's actually pretty fast. Yeah, that's athleticism. That's not what I mean. He's just not really the type of guy that would do that. But, like, he's never really been the best tackler. But in 2020, like, he's really not had a ton of playing time his whole career. Like, this just froze, whatever. That's not good. Yeah, that's what you call a sponsor buzz. Whatever. But in 2020, in the few snaps he played, dude, what was his injury? I forgot what his injury was. He got hurt. I know that. Oh, yeah, torn pectoral. That I don't remember it. But before that, in the few snaps he played, it was pretty good. But he's never really played a full season, like, obviously. In the 1 year, he played all 16 games, though. In 2020, yeah. He 3.4 tackle miss percentage. It's not great, but in 2019, he missed so many tackles, like really sloppy. He's never been a great tackler, but he was definitely good in 2020. I like him though a lot. Alex Singleton, not a bad backup whatsoever. Should not be a starter in the NFL. Yeah, 81 tackles, good, but should not be a starter. Just makes too many mistakes. Justin Strand, really athletic again, really solid, but just doesn't have the length and just doesn't have the anticipation or the decisiveness to be a good run defender, because that's kind of what he's supposed to be. Joe Schobert, really washed up at this point, but he's been good in his past. Like, I'll just prove it to you. And if you didn't know, Joe Schobert's PF grade is really accurate. In 2020, he's horrible. 2020, pretty darn bad. 2019, though, decent. Yeah, PFF grade doesn't say so, but he was. 2018, really good. 2017, meh. 2016, meh. 2015, where was it? 2018. 2018 he was really good. But yeah, I don't think Joe Schroeder's that good anymore. But since he's a good, decent veteran, like what, and he got a good contract, not a bad third stringer. Okay, the grading C+. The depth isn't bad, but Josie Jewell's good. But Jonas Griffiths is just such an unknown. I can't really take just that risk yet. But it's not a bad linebacking core. It's definitely better than it was in the past couple years. Really underrated part of their team, but they just get the job done really. Of course, this defensive line starting out with Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones is good. Like, he's a beast. Like, a real beast. His run stopping is not just there, but he's really good at getting after quarterback. He's really consistent with it as well. McTelvin Ingram, limited snaps last year, but as a backup, he was decent. Like, he was good. He got the job done, especially in the run game. DJ Jones, huge guy, literally just a run defender. Say what you want about his pass rush ability, but he just literally stuffs the run. Like, he can, like, he's really powerful as well. Deshaun Williams, I just don't like Deshaun Williams a lot, but let's be straight up honest. When it comes to getting pressures, he gets to the quarterback. Yeah, he only had 1 sack last year, but he gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback, especially, and he's really athletic as well, like really athletic. And he has some good, and he's pretty good with his hands as well. But 9 pressures, yeah, but he gets the quarterback when he needs to. That's better. Mike Purcell, not a bad backup as a starter. He's pretty bad, though. He's getting up there. He's pretty old, too. Jonathan Harris, what am I saying? I've never heard of this dude. I'll just be straight up honest. Never heard of Jonathan Harris. But, yeah, I'm assuming he's decent. I've never really watched him on film at all. But I'll be straight. I just don't know who that he is. Other than that, though, decent defensive line. I don't know, C. They're decent, but, like, that's really just about it. Like, I like the guys, but the depth isn't great. And, like, I like they have some good players. Like, Draymond Jones I love a lot, but other than that, like that's kind of about it. 8.27 out of 15, decent. Time for this pass rush. Okay, if Randy Gregory can stay on the field, he could have 15 sacks. Like, we saw it. He didn't play really at all last year. Yeah, he gets injured a lot. But his shoulder injury, but he had 6 sacks. That was for a reason. He's a beast. #1 pass rusher. Bradley Chubb, he's had a really wacky career. He was awful last year. Like, awful. Like, really bad. But in 2020, he had a solid year. He proved that, yeah, I'm worth a good contract. 2019, he was, again, horrible. But they didn't really play at all, I'll be honest with you. 2018, of course, that was his best year. But Bradley Chubb, I said, should have a really good year this year, considering that's happened in 2020 and 2018. Malik Reed, really good with potential in pass rush. Really good pass rush win rate. Really consistent, but he's never going to be the guy that has 10 sacks or 15 sacks. Just that's how it's going to be. But he's a good depth guy. Baron Browning was really a disappointment last year. Third up, I got at Ohio State. He was really just supposed to be that power guy who can facilitate the edge and really just help out the corners a lot. Wasn't really that, but he actually was able to get some pressure. And of course, Nick Benito, not athletic whatsoever, has a bad first step, not explosive, but he somehow finds a way to get to the quarterback. Whether it's from another guy helping him out, chip blocks, whatever, him absolutely like mauling a guy, it depends. Nick Benito's a really good. I like Nick Benito because he can just get to the quarterback. Jonathan Kongbo, first season at UDFA at Tennessee. I remember he was bad against Georgia. Like, got absolutely destroyed. Whoever their left tackle was. But it wasn't Andrew Thomas. No, whatever. Jonathan Kongbo, though, other than that game, I think the only game I really watched him like a lot, he was actually pretty decent in terms of like PFF grades, all that stuff, and the fact that I did get to watch a little more of him later. That's good, but yeah, that's his pass rush, which is pretty good. Okay, B. Not gonna give anything higher just for the fact that that would be a little out there. Just for the fact that I don't think it's that great. It's really good, but don't know if it's that great just yet. So that's 16 plus 3.67, 19.67 out of 25. Really good. But it's getting there. It's getting there. It's going to be even better next year. But Bradley Chubb can just have a really good season, like a really, really good season. And I can, like, not have to believe that he'll be absolutely awful in 2023, then yeah, maybe I'll consider them being a really good pass rush. But for now, they're just really good. They're good. Time for this cornerback position. Okay, Patrick Tan. I think he's a little overrated in my opinion. He wasn't a elite cover last year. I just want people to get that, but he's a really good playmaker. He's a really good playmaker. But he did give a lot of receptions. Not only that though, he did get burned a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty thrilled with him. Pretty darn good last year. 51% completion isn't bad or whatever, but he did get 545 yards. Like I said, he got burned a little bit. 382 air yards. Missed five tackles, not great, and he got 3 touchdowns. That's not awful. I'll tell you, Jalen Ramsey, I think he gave up a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he gave up 3. I think that's a little high. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he gave up 3 touchdowns last year. He gave up maybe 1. But oh yeah, Patrick Tan, he's good. Patrick Tan is really good. Definitely number 1. Ronald Darby, really underrated. This guy, I gotta admit with you, at one point I'd be surprised if he even gave up a big play the whole season. But he's really talented, still really fast somehow. He's gone through a lot in his career, but I still think he's good. He's a solid corner at this point in his career. Kaylon Williams, I like Kaylon Williams a lot. 8th season. Who the heck did he play for a while ago? But he's a good vet. Gets the job done as a slot. That's kind of really about it. Michael Jumbadia, oh god, he's so bad. Really, really bad. He didn't play at all last year for a reason, because in 2020 he was absolutely atrocious. Darman Mathis, 2022 4th on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. He was Pittsburgh's the only reason Pittsburgh, I'll be honest with you, at some points won games. Obviously their offense was elite with who was it? Addison? What was his name? Jordan Addison and Kenny Pickett. But at points, they need their defense to actually step up, and he was the only reason they did. So that's good there. But overall, not really a ton of depth here, not a ton of firepower, but obviously Patrick Tan and Ronald Darby, pretty good cornerback. Okay, cornerback, B-. It's okay, I guess, but like I said, I just don't love it. The depth I don't like a lot, and the starters, yeah, they're good, but Patrick Tan, like I said, a little overrated, but I think I'm nitpicking a little bit. Still really good. Time for the safety core. Okay, Justin Simmons, elite. I think at one point he didn't miss a snap. He still might not have missed a snap, because in 2019 and 2020, or maybe even 2018, he didn't miss a whole snap. But not only that though, this dude's honestly, you could argue him as the best safety in the NFL. Definitely, if not the best, he's the best free safety, because he's not only a ball hawk, but he plays so well over the top. He blankets. And not only that, he's so fast. So fast. PJ Locke, and he's really intense to me. PJ Locke's actually a good backup for him, because he's, kind of the opposite. Really, really raw. But, yeah, they're both pretty fast. So you can't be a free safety with being slow. But, PJ Locke's definitely faster, a lot more athletic. But he cannot read the field as well. But he could step in at one point. And then, first screen on Jackson. Defies the odds. Really good strong safety his whole career. Really just a box guy, but he can still play over the top somehow. He's really old. Then you got Caden Stearns. Of course, a 5th round pick in 2021. Out of Texas. He kind of got burned a little bit last year, but he did make some plays in the box, especially that huge interception he had against, who the heck was it? I forgot. Whatever. Caden Stearns had a really good rookie year, in my opinion. Still needs to be great this year, though, for me to really just convince myself. But probably one of the best safety duos in the NFL. Okay, A-. Yup, I'm being a little hot here, but they're really good. Really good. Yeah, Creep Jackson get up there in age, but they still have Caden Stearns there, and he had a good rookie season. So, I like it overall. 19.33 out of 20. Other than this quarterback position, that's probably their second best position. Time for overall defensive grade and average. Okay, the average comes out to a B-, and the points comes out to a C+ at 70, what was it? 4 out of 100. Let me check the range. I just want to make sure I can remember this. Oh yeah, the Red Sox are getting blown out. If any of you guys are Red Sox fans, we're not gonna watch that. I'll tell you that. No, it was 76. Yeah, it was 76. It had to be 76 because it wasn't even numbered. 76 out of 100. I think they're B. They're gonna be a good defense this year. It's a little watered down than it was in the past couple of years, but I still think it's a good defense. The defensive line. Yes, he may be a little low, but they've never been that good. It's just the fact they've been able to somewhat penetrate, and the secondary has always been pretty good. Of course, these safeties have been as well, but really good, just good team in space, good tackling team, and not only defense, but not only that, they're really good in the red zone. That's why I give them a B. Can't give them a B plus though. Not the same firepower. They always perform better than they say on paper, but that's what they are on paper. A B defense. Time for special teams unit. Okay, Brandon McManus. He's kind of a wild guy. He hits extra points usually. Huge leg, but he's never been like that accurate of a kicker. But he's been reliable. There's a reason. What is it called? What the heck? The Broncos had him for 9 years because he's really reliable. But he's not the best kicker in the NFL by any means. Sam Martin, definition of average. Montreal Washington, one of the reasons they got him out of Sanford is because he's a really good returner as well. As well as being a really just good technical player. Not only that though, he's a really good returner as well. Really shifty. He's kind of like a Julian Edelman in that way. But obviously he's more explosive than him. Jacob Moyer, whatever, not bad. Why do I think he's newer to the NFL? Yeah, he is. North Colorado. But he's not a bad box number. But overall, I like his special teams unit. When it comes to defending on the special teams unit, it's not good, but it's not like the worst. And I think like a C plus because it's not really that great of a special teams unit, being completely fair. But it's not terrible either. 6 out of 10. Time for his overall team depth grade though. Okay, running back depth. B, I guess. No, yeah, B minus. Wide receiver depth. C plus. Tight end depth. B. Offensive line depth. A, yeah. Overall offensive depth. B plus. Just for the fact. Well, let's see. No. Yeah, B plus. No, B. Linebacker depth. C. Defensive line depth. C plus. Pass rush depth. B minus. B. Cornerback depth. C. Safety depth. I don't know. B. Yeah, good to B. Defensive overall depth. B. Overall depth of the team. B minus. I think they're a little bit better. Just like really, guys step in. It's not like anything bad's gonna happen. Kind of business as usual in a way, but it's not that good in overall. But yeah, B minus. 3.33 plus. 12 is 15.33 at no. What was it? Oh yeah, did I have that for that? Yeah, so 19.33 out of 25, pretty good. Time for this overall roster grade and points. Total points, 184 points out of 235 points. That comes out to B plus. You know what? I'll give the Broncos a B plus roster. I think it's that because they've got a really, really good quarterback, obviously, but there aren't any holes on this roster whatsoever. There isn't one hole. I honestly think that too. Not only that though, they've got some talent. I wouldn't say they are the superstar. Oh my God, that roster has so much firepower. Roster like the Chiefs were last year, but they've got some guys you don't want to mess with, and they just don't have a hole in their roster. At the worst, they've got like a meh position, and it's not even really that meh. And even like at the positions that really matter, yeah, maybe they don't really matter as much when you got a guy like Russell Wilson running the show, because he won a Super Bowl with a supporting cast like this. Because at the start of the season, I'm not even kidding, because Marshawn Lynch went at that point, you know what, yeah, he was actually really good. But, my bad. Their offensive line was terrible in the Legion of Boom era. Yeah, he had a really good defense, but Russell Wilson's better than he was then. So, yeah. You replace him with like Marshawn Lynch and not as good defense. And, yeah, basically, this is a good defense, a better offense, and a better roster. I like this roster a lot. Give him a B+. That's your 2022 Denver Broncos roster grades. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video.
I'd have that thing close.
All right. Logan Ryan looking deep downfield. Matt Ryan fires.